Let you know.
Normal. Having a normal one tonight.
Always.
You guys want more things of Google?
All right, there we go.
Welcome in.
Yep.
Wow.
To the DNVR Avalanche podcast.
Yes, that's a no.
Definitely.
Really sounded weird.
Yeah, I did it on purpose that time, though.
So weird.
Avs lose to the Anaheim Ducks 4-3 in the shootout. They also lost by the same score to the Arizona Coyotes the other night. That game felt like it was fairly competitive. You felt okay getting 1 point out of it. This one, you feel like the Avs kind of left a point on the table. Still happy with the point?
I mean, you're not happy when a team has an 8-game losing streak coming into the game and you lose to them. No.
Sure.
You're not happy about that. But I've said this previously. You're going to lose games. So if you do it in overtime, that's better than doing it in regulation. So, no, you don't feel happy about it, man. And it puts a lot of pressure on tomorrow to at least get to overtime.
Yep.
To feel like you have a 500 road trip. It's a successful enough road trip. You're fine. It's not bad. It's not a disaster. It's, it's fine.
Sure.
You don't love your position, but, when you now have points in, this is 9 of 10 games.
Yep.
It's again, in the macro, you don't feel that bad about it, but in the micro, in the scope of just tonight, Ivan Prosvetov isn't very good, so you got to point out of that. Okay. You absolutely feel like you left another point on the table, though.
Yep.
You absolutely. You had a 3-1 lead in this hockey game, and you lose. You absolutely feel like you left a point on the table.
Pretty safely.
And it's the National Hockey League. I mean, there's no gimmies. There's no easy games. This is as easy as it gets. Yep. You have a team that's lost 8 in a row. Mm-hmm. This is your chip shot, right? This is your easy one.
Yep.
And it shows you that if you're not full throttle, you're not going all out. You're lackadaisical at times, like they were tonight. It didn't have the atmosphere of a playoff game, right? You know what I mean? So I'm just saying, that's what I'm trying to say. Like, there's another level. We all know that McKinnon's got another. Right? Rantanen's got another level. Yeah. And I don't want to sound like negative towards those guys. I'm saying, but like Mac had some nice, shifts here and there. And I'm just saying, but you get paid to produce.
Yeah, I don't care how good it looked. I'm sorry, you got 0 goals from your entire forward core tonight.
That's what I'm trying to say. Yeah.
Not good enough.
We're on the same page. You gotta bring your heart rate up. You do. You just can't be half-ass and go and it didn't work and I go. So there's another level. The Avs have another level. I mean, this might have been the best game. I was going to say the Mighty Ducks doesn't exist anymore. The Ducks have.
They should go back to being the Mighty Ducks. This is probably
their best game they've had in their last 10 games, right? You know what I mean?
Get them, Tiff.
But it just shows you, every team's got pride. Every team's got, the last time they faced the Avs, they lost 8-2.
Yep.
Don't think they weren't talking about that before the game. And then they've gone on 8 games without, winning. So all of a sudden, the team that had the biggest heart rate, up for the most part of the game, won the game. That's it. I mean, it's that simple. Is it the better team? No. Avs are a better team. But the other team played better. I mean, you got 3 goals from your back end. You should be able to win the game, like Rudo just said. Your goalie was not better than the goalie across from him. Your special teams were not better than their special teams.
Not even close.
So right away, you're not. It's not a position to win a game. Hey, got to overtime, got to shootout. These guys connected on the shootout. The Avs didn't. Here's the point. Simple.
Yeah, your big guys couldn't your two best forwards don't score in the shootout. Arguably your best player this season does not play 1 second in overtime.
Yep.
As he apparently was too injured to finish the game.
Even though he stayed on the bench, but whatever. It's a weird situation.
What's the
That's
difference
all.
at that point,
Yeah, it doesn't
you know?
really matter. Yeah.
But that's disappointing. I mean, all of it's disappointing, man.
Yep.
It's just disappointing.
Let's do the 60-second rundown before we get more disappointed than we already are.
Oh, yeah. It feels like we just did a 4-minute rundown.
Avs really did not play very well through the first portion of the first period, but it kind of just didn't matter. Bowen Byram scores twice anyway. They get a 2-goal lead. They give one back, but then Devon Toews gets a third. The Avs are up 3-1 after the first period. Really should be in control of this game. They give 2 back in the second, including 2 goals against on the power play for Anaheim. And then the third period happens. The Avs do generate some good chances in the third. You feel like this game was theirs for the taking. They just couldn't put a puck in the back of the net. Mm-hmm. That game goes to overtime. Overtime was honestly not that interesting. And then you get to the shootout where the Avs just can't score a goal. And they lose the game. I don't know. It just felt like they could not get this one over the finish line.
Yeah.
Despite let's talk about this because the Avs do score 3 goals in the first period. By the end of it, the shot numbers look pretty even, but the first half of it, pretty Anaheim-sided, really. What's the magic sauce? Not that you're not going to complain about a period that the Avs win 3-1, right? But you're not going to consistently come out of periods 3-1 the way that period was played.
Well, and that was, I think, the thing about it is that you're like, it's 3-1. They finished. The goals were pretty good, and the first goal was pretty weak.
Yeah.
And then the 2 finishes after that are awesome finishes.
For sure.
But you just don't play very well.
Yeah.
You give up a lot of scoring chances. You make Prosvetov work, and he plays really well for you.
In that period.
Yeah, he plays really well for you, obviously, in that period. That's what we're talking about. Just cage the beast, my man.
I'm trying.
Like you force him. My encouragement was that all that work early on was going to get him into it. Was going to get him into a rhythm,
Sure.
and that was going to put him into a good place, so that he doesn't give up a free one at some point. That's not how it went. But I mean, ultimately, that first period, you just don't play a good game. You give up way too many chances. You give up way too many scoring chances and high danger chances and odd man rushes, and you just don't play a good game. You don't play a tight defensive game.
Yep.
You try to play a little too loosey-goosey back and forth. It goes well enough for you. You remember the Byram's first goal comes after
a massive
breakaway.
defensive lapse on his part.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It comes after a stop on a breakaway.
Yep.
And they get the odd man rush going the other way, which I don't know how that happens. Whatever. But you end up with an odd man rush and you score and you're like, woohoo, it's great. But it's papering over the deeper problems. And then you play way better in the second period, but you give up goals.
Yep.
And that's how hockey goes sometimes. Like, it's unfair in that way. Anaheim felt like they played the better period and they played
down 2.
Yeah, exactly. And they lose the period on the scoreboard. Colorado outplays the Ducks the rest of the game and lose the game.
Yep.
And that's how hockey goes sometimes. It's a cruel sport in that way. Personally, it's my favorite thing about the sport, but it is cruel in that way. So, it's that first period was definitely it was just not tight enough defensively for my liking, and I can guarantee you the coaching staff is watching it.
Yeah.
Absolutely not.
Not okay.
Absolutely not.
Definitely too many odd man rushes against, but how do you feel about it, E?
Well, I agree with that. I'm going back to my comment there of bringing your heart rate up. I think that's how you give up on man rushes, because you're going at it a half fast, or you turn the puck over, or you just misread your guy, or you're coming back, you're just not fully engaged, and all of a sudden you're like, it could be Olofsson that gets beat wide, right? Then it creates chaos between Manson and Byram, and then you make a decision and the guy makes a nice play. But it comes down to, it's the National Hockey League. You gotta have pedal to the metal. like you said, they played good at times. I mean, you should. You're a better team than they are. And it's a team that's lost 8 in a row. So, again, the Avs, they've won 8 out of 9, whatever it is. And there'll be nights like the Phoenix game and this one where you feel like there's some left in the tank, which is a good thing tonight because they're playing again tomorrow, right? So it just feels like there was a lot left in the tank. It feels like you could have executed better. You could have finished better. Colton on that play there. He's got Gibson beat. You can't say that's a save by Gibson. He's laying on his belly, and he has no idea where the puck is. And Russ puts it on his, and I'm not
Just
blaming
right into
Russ,
his
I'm
pad,
saying,
yeah.
but they didn't execute. They didn't finish. They had chances to win that game. They didn't. And, again, you want to be a championship team, which they are. They're not going to be perfect all the time, but you're up 3-1 on the road where you've lost the last game. I don't care if it was in overtime. You still lost. Mm-hmm. You got to have the killer instinct to find a way to finish a team that's lost 8 in a row.
And that's where the power play hurt them because they have
100%.
They have opportunities to put this game away,
And they just don't.
100%.
and they don't. And to be honest with you, their power plays aren't even competitive.
Yep.
It's not that they and we talked in the pregame about, hey, they've scored goals in 9 straight. Well, they've had pretty good results in those 9 games. Mm-hmm. They don't get it tonight. They lose the game. And that's not to say it's the power play's fault. It's not. It's the penalty kill's fault. But but it's not a coincidence that they lose the special teams battle badly.
Yep.
And that's too hard to overcome at 5v5.
It's kind of what we talked about with this power play, right? As long as it's scoring, there's nothing you can say about it, even if it looks bad. If puck's going in, whatever.
Yeah.
But the second it stops scoring, it's a problem.
You care an awful lot more about process as soon as the process stops producing result.
Exactly. So clearly both sides of special teams needed to be better tonight, as you said.
Yeah.
But the power play just feels so obvious that they've been doing the same thing for the better part of a month now. And you knew that wasn't going to keep working forever.
I mean, a month.
6 years.
Yeah. Basically, since Ray Bennett got here, the Avalanche power play has not materially changed.
Yeah.
It's been these 3 guys and then some changes to some moving parts in the middle of the ice. With Arturi Lehkonen, Val Nichushkin, Gabe Landeskog, JT Compher, Jonathan Duran, Ryan Johansson, some other guys.
Sure.
That have briefly moonlighted there.
Yep.
Evan Rodriguez. But it's these 3 guys. And as I talked about in the pregame, it's no surprise that I'm going to go back to this in the postgame now that they didn't do this and it didn't work. But Mikko Rantanen has 55 goals last season. He's a premier goal scorer in the NHL. He's the best goal scorer on the Avalanche.
And you're actively not feeding that guy.
And he has one big one-timer attempt, and that is it.
Yep.
Some of that's on Mikko because
sure.
he loves to get cute and look for other things, and the guy's almost too creative for his own good.
Yep.
Yeah.
Because he can see he wants to make that pass on the back door. He
Seam
wants
to McKinnon.
Yeah, and there's the seam pass. Yeah, there's all kinds of things that he wants to do, and it's just like, Mikko, just shoot the damn thing. And that, I think that's it would help him if he would simplify his game just a little bit for a little while.
Yeah.
Until he really gets back rolling, and then maybe he can try some cute stuff again. But right now, Mikko Rantanen doesn't look any good.
I mean, you're going on, 4 or 5 games without a goal from him.
Right.
It's getting too long.
Well, and this is the way it was like that 100 years ago. It's got to be like this 100 years from now when you're struggling like that, And I would never tell Mikko how to play hockey. He's way better than all of us combined. I mean, right? Right? No, but it's a fact.
We don't add much to that quotient there.
It's all right. All 3 of us combined.
You're Mikko to us.
Yeah. Thank you. No. This is not negative. What I'm saying is, it's very simple. When you're struggling, because he is. Let's call a spade right now.
Yep.
My favorite forward on the Avalanche. I tell you guys that all the time. When you're struggling, you go back to basics.
Uh-huh.
You don't invent the game. You bend your knees. You dig in. You drive. You know what I mean? What's your specialty? It's your shot. Shoot the puck. You know what I mean? Don't try the cutesy plays like you just said. Get back to meat and potatoes, right? Goes back to food all the time, right? Get back to meat and potatoes. Keep it simple and go. And that's, And that's for Mikko. That's for the power play. It's very simple what I'm going to say here. And then coaches over the time that I played for, it was very simple. The coaches always said the same thing. There's 5 of you. There's 4 of them. If you work harder than them, you will have the puck. Mm-hmm. It's not hard. Forget about the rest. But right now, they're just too cutesy and they're not shooting. And then when they shoot, then they lose in. Then it gets out. And and again, caught up to them a little bit tonight. Mm-hmm. On the power play we're talking about, right?
It was inevitable.
And again, this is not being negative. This is, we love this team. I do. I believe they're going to come out of the West. I do believe this is the first 20 games that they need it. They've been real good. Have they been perfect? No. Are they going to be perfect? No, it doesn't exist. But this is a team that has everything to come out of the West, and they will come out of the West.
Yeah.
Go back to this pod, game 21,
totally.
Whatever we are, 23. But those are the things in a playoff game, because we're not stupid. We know this is not the playoffs. We know this is game 23. But Bednar, every presser goes back to how do you win in the playoffs?
Yeah.
So this is a playoff game tonight. It's not enough intensity. It's not. You know what I mean? Because if you play like that, and I go back to the heart rate, and I'm going, like, what's his name there? Heart rate, whatever.
Gene Simmons?
Yes, whatever his name is. Not Gene Simmons.
Yeah, the other one. I always get him confused.
Heart rate.
There's another one?
Well, not a singer. The other guy.
Yeah, I think they're both
Simmons.
named Gene Simmons.
No, it's not. I'll have to Google him. Anyway, somebody will tell us.
I didn't know there were 2.
Well, there's the Kiss singers, the other one.
Yeah. No, this guy, Simmons.
They're both Gene Simmons, I think.
No, I don't.
Oh, it's Richard Simmons. It's Richard Simmons,
yes.
yeah.
Heart rate. I mean, honestly, you got to bring your heart rate up. You do. Because you're too young. Mike Richter was
Richard Simmons. Yeah.
1 year. It was unbelievable. At Halloween, it was the best. So it's always like, heart rate. And I'm going back and I'm being stupid with the heart rate thing, but you got to bring your heart rate up to play in the National Hockey League. And it goes from Mikko to a call-up. You know what I mean? And tonight, if you thank you, Richard Simmons. But I hate when you leave a point on the table. That's what bugs me tonight.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it's the end of the world. I'm not saying this team's shit.
Of course.
I'm not saying they're butt poopy farts.
There it is.
This game was pretty
told you.
butt poopy fart, I think.
I was going to use this line, butt poopy fart. Okay? But, exactly. We got all the Simmons messed up.
Whatever.
My points all over the place. But anyway, what I'm trying to say is, I just feel you left a point on the table tonight. I don't like that. That's my only negative thing.
Well, and here's the reality. When you are as good of a player as Mikko Rantanen is, the expectations are higher.
Yeah.
If Logan O'Connor comes in and doesn't score on these opportunities, you're like, yeah, it's Logan O'Connor. I mean,
Guy's never had a 10-goal season in his life, and he's doing all this. Like, give me a break.
But when you're Mikko Rantanen, when you're Nathan McKinnon, the expectations are that high, and for the Avs to win on a consistent basis, they need to be their best players.
Yeah, it's not a complicated thing, and the people that often cry about what about the depth? What about the other guys doing something? You got it tonight. Like, we need other guys need to score. Oh, we don't have a this, we don't have a that. One of the areas that I think tonight really did highlight a problem is you have a coaching problem. And that's not to say I'm saying you need to get rid of Jared Bednar. There's a systems problem. You have a trust issue.
Yep.
Because right now, and I wrote about this the other day, Ross Colton is slowly taking over the second line center job in terms of trust, time on ice, and
just general usage.
Situations that he's comfortable throwing that line out onto the ice. But the production is also followed with Ross Colton. Wood and Colton combine on assists on Byram's first goal. Ross Colton should have had another goal tonight. You're looking at his production. His production is starting to creep into the 50-point pace. Closer to it. It's still, I believe, in the 40s.
Yeah.
But you are still talking about a line that is producing more than you would expect a little bit, just given their contracts, reputations, etc. But you have a serious coaching issue because Nathan McKinnon played 29 minutes tonight.
Yep.
You're talking about heart rate. We're talking about laziness. We saw this a year ago with Cale Makar. Playing 29 minutes a game.
You just run out of gas eventually.
It took something out. It took some of the pizzazz out of Cale Makar's game. And we're seeing the same thing happen with Mikko Rantanen and Nathan McKinnon and Val Nichushkin right now. All that speed and all that electricity and all that dynamic stuff that they're able to do, especially working hard in the offensive zone, is gone when they have to play more minutes than most defensemen played tonight in the NHL. That has to get cut way down. Not 29 to 25 like they've done with Makar this year
23,
and have found wonderful results. That needs to go from 29 to maybe 21, 22.
Sure.
It needs to get cut a lot. And I personally, what I'm saying is I don't care where those minutes come from. I'm not going to pick and choose. Right now, your fourth line is getting scored on every single night. You can't give them to those guys. Yeah. So I would just say easily, that can't happen. But your third line, your second line, pick them. Go 3.5 minutes per. I don't care.
You can't keep playing Jonathan Drew in 12 minutes a night and keep him in that spot.
And Tomas Tatar plays 8 minutes.
Yeah, which is
tonight.
even worse. Yeah.
And you can say, well, what have they done to earn it? What have your top line done to earn 29 minutes?
I'm with you. And here's what I'm going to say to this, because I'm at different, how can I say this? Like, I'm not first line, second line, third line, because I wasn't, So I believe in, like, you know what, you're part of a team. And I believe Mark Crawford was the best of that, for me, that I ever played for. Feeling his bench and feeling who was hot and who was hot together. And there's nights that, I don't care if you're the so-called fourth line, like you were playing more than the other ones because you were going. Yeah. And I'm not criticizing Jared Bednar here. I'm not, because I do believe he's the top 3 coach in the National Hockey League. I'm going to say that. And I say it out loud, and I'll say it again. But if you look at the disparity of the 5-on-5 minutes that we were just talking about, like the top line plays like butt poopy, whatever it is. What is it?
Butt poopy fart.
Butt poopy for a ton more than everybody else. And it's like, for me, because I don't like second and third line. Like Ross Colton, LOC, and Woody Woodpecker. I'm a coach. I throw those guys out there a ton more because they can handle it. First of all, they're all young. They can all go a lot more, and they thrive at 5-on-5. And when your top end guys aren't going, I agree with everybody here. You got to throw those guys more. You have to. You know what I mean? And it's like, and that's where I am criticizing it a little bit, Bedsy, on this one. You know what I mean? Because you just have to. You have to feel it more, and then maybe Mac and Mikko, and they have a little more gas, a little more juice, and it's like, okay, we're not going right now on this offensive zone face-off. Yeah. These guys are going. Of course they're going. Their heart rate's up. Yours is not.
It's the law of diminishing returns.
That's me.
That's what this is. It's the law of diminishing returns. You have overextended your top line with the expectation that they be your top line for 29 minutes. If that was ever effective in the history of the NHL, don't you think that coaches would have eventually started putting top? You think Wayne Gretzky wouldn't have played 29 minutes a night
if it worked?
Right. And like tonight is obviously they played more and overtime skewed those numbers a little bit. I get that. But not that much. They've been playing 24 minutes a night, right in that range, pretty consistently. That needs to come down to 21 or 22. It has to come down.
And you look at a night like tonight, and you look at that third line of Colton and Wood and O'Connor, and yes, I get it. They didn't finish their opportunities, but they played pretty well. They were generating quality chances. You give them an extra shift or two, maybe they find one.
Yeah, and one of the other areas that you can easily, right off the top, you can find time, your second power play unit.
Yep.
You have Bowen Byram with 2 goals, and you sit him for almost the entirety of extra man time because you're playing your top unit almost the full 2 minutes.
Yep.
I know, Eric, this has been a big thing for you after the first minute. Pull him off. And there have been multiple situations in this game where the puck was either cleared or they had a face-off with a minute, 40 seconds, something like that to go.
They leave them out there.
And they leave them out there.
Yeah, that's my pet peeve, yeah.
And you've set that unit up for failure at the end of it because now they're tired. But you've also not done yourself any favors if you get back to 5-on-5 anytime soon, because after the 2-minute shift, they're going to need to sit. They're going to need to sit. You're going to need to play all 3 other lines before you can get them out there. And instead of doing that, it's the top line once again. Okay, I've played 2 lines. I'm antsy. Let's over the ports. We got to go over the ports. They haven't played in 2 minutes. Let's go. It's just an overusage. It's a law of diminishing return. And this is where I can be unhappy with Mikko Rantanen's play all I want, but I don't think Jared Bednar is setting those guys up for success. That's an area that I really am frustrated with right now. It's way too much for that top line.
100% agree. I do want to talk about the fourth line and some other things a little bit more, but before we do, if you're injured like Cale Makar, or if you get dropped to the ice by Cale Makar, he dropped a few kids today. Call Bacchus and Schenker at 222-2222 today. But honestly, if you were in a situation where maybe it was a car accident, maybe you were at work, maybe something happened where you were injured and not at fault, you can call Bacchus and Schenker at the 2 number or go to coloradolaw.net to get a free consultation. If they think you have a case, they'll take it on and you pay nothing up front. They don't get paid until you get paid. So go check it out. Go get with Bacchus and Schenker today. They've won over $1 billion for their clients over the 25 plus years they've been doing it. So they're very, very good at what they do. Get with them. Bacchus and Schenker wins. Then we're also brought to you by Circa Sports and their betting app. You can go right now and download the app today. Go get in on it and have some fun. And of course, you can get in on all sorts of amazing options, including the NFL Survivor Pool. You can jump in on that. The contest currently running right now. Tons of other options over at Circa Sports. Whatever you want to get in on, jump on with it. You can also go, of course, to Las Vegas and bet in person if that's your thing. If not, you know how to do it. Go with Circa Sports. Go get your app today. Go download it at circasports.com. Of course, you must be physically located in the state of Colorado and be 21 or older. All rights reserved. Circa Sports Colorado encourages you to gamble responsibly. If you have a gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit problemgamblingcolorado.org. Second period of the DNVR Avalanche podcast. Fourth line.
I'm getting scored on.
Particularly,
that's all I have to say.
I think Freddie Olofsson has been struggling a little bit as of late. You see him on Anaheim's second goal tonight. He just gets beat out wide. Clearly beat. It causes chaos for the Avs defensive coverage. Puck ends up in the back of their net, and it's a 1-goal game. The thing is, if you're a fourth line, I'm not even going to say stop getting scored on necessarily, but I'm saying you have to go even or better. And they are not producing goals as of late. So that means, stop getting scored on
most nights. Like, you're not.
And that's fine if they don't get scored on.
Yeah, and if you go 3 games in a row and you haven't given up any goals and you haven't scored any goals,
fine.
You're fine.
Yeah.
The team looks at you and goes, we're good. It would be great if they were adding energy and some of those guys are killing penalties and they're doing some other things.
But just don't lose the game.
Right, but like, that fourth line does not exist to score goals. It exists to not give up goals and to be a home for specialists, which is one of the things we were talking about, like with Riley Tufte, him being like a weird fit there because he doesn't PK for you. He doesn't play on a power play. What does he do? Right now, all 3 of the guys on your fourth line, Cogliano, Kimi, Ranta, and Olofsson, play on your PK. So those guys all have something that they contribute beyond that. But you can't turn around and give up 2 penalty kill goals and get scored on at 5v5.
It's not good.
You can't do that. Your fourth line cannot be a part of that mess. That's a bloodbath for guys that are on your fourth line. Cannot be a part of that.
Well, again, I'm going back to I hate using the 1, 2, 3, 4, but we all know there's a pecking order. I mean, give and take. So call that line. For me, it's very simple. The number one thing is you just said it, even or better. I love that line. I love those words. Has a line that is supposed to bring, and they've done it at times this year, obviously. You can't get scored on. That is the number one thing. Number 2 things is you. I used to play in Ottawa, and I remember the stats being there in the training room, like who has drawn the most penalties and things like that. So as a line, as a group right there, you can contribute to the game a lot more than just goals, right? Of course, no goals against.
Yeah.
Create energy. Create power plays. Create momentum. Create chaos. And that's where I think they haven't done that the last few games. You know, remember they had that big game where they had 3 goals
against
and the next
Anaheim.
night- yeah. Was that 8 games ago? Yeah, it's been a little quiet since. That's why I hate judging lines like that on production, because the production is so on paper a lot more different places.
Yeah.
And when you have a team like that has a top heavy, and I'm going back to the top line again, the top guys. The one thing, I don't care if you're a squirt, a bantam, junior hockey player, college hockey player, the one thing you can do that will get hockey players going is their ice. You take away their ice time. I don't care what it is. And I know it's easy because you pay those guys and then you have an offensive zone face-off and you're like, oh, they're due. But they haven't been gone for 5, 6, 7, 8 shifts. Sometimes you just got to pump the brakes and you're like, you know what? Woody, LOC, Russ, get out there. And then it's like, oh, whoa. You have a little bit of pride. You know what I mean? And you're like, we're not going. It will get you going. Because that's the one thing you can do is take away their ice. And you know they're going to play again. I mean, come on now. We all know they're some of the best players. Again, we're nitpicking here. That's some of the best players in the world. And guys that have produced and guys that have won 2 years ago and that will win again. You know what I mean? But when you're in a little thing like this, in a slump, so to speak, and again, we're going to say he's in a slump, and McKinnon's got, 25,000 points in the last 7 games. But we know he's got more, right?
It's an approximate number that feels correct.
Yeah, exactly. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? We're nitpicking him, but it's
Totally.
not. But that's the difference tonight between a win and a loss, right? And that's, and again, it's like, oh my God, can you imagine if you're a fan of, I don't know, San Jose? You'd be complaining a lot more. No, I mean, those guys want to win, and they want to win every night. You know what I mean? And as coaches, as teammates, as fans, as media people, you know what I mean? Like, you want what's best for them. And that's why it's fun. It's a drug. You know what I mean? It's a rush.
Great.
AJ was pacing during the
more.
game. We all know that.
Oh, I'm a pacer, man.
Yeah. And it's fun. That's why it's awesome. You know what I mean? And then you talk about it. What can you do better? And don't think the guys aren't on the it's a bus tonight because they're busting to LA, but what are you talking about? Hey, what can we do better? You know what I mean? Like, I remember Patty Well was the best. You know what I mean? Like, he'd be like in the back of the bus and going about the PK because they gave up 2 goals tonight, right? I'll tell you one thing. This whole bus ride tonight, it would have been a scratch paper and a pen and going like this and, hey, come here. Hey, you, come here. Let's talk about this. And you know what I mean? And that's what you do. That's why it's fun. You want to get better. You want to fix things. And that's what we're doing right now. We're just trying to fix the big loss.
Again, it's an entire team thing too. You look at the first goal against the Avs, and you're saying, "What are you covering, Devon? You're actively moving yourself out of the passing lane."
Your best defenseman, whatever, and one of the guys who has been an elite PK guy across the NHL over the last handful of years. He is positioned specifically to take away a cross crease pass. And it just teleports through him.
Yep.
The puck night crawlers through him. And you're just like, what is this, man? Like, you expect better out of Devon Toews there. That coverage from Cale Makar and Devon Toews does not give Ivan Prosvetov a chance to not make a save. He's not even in the net.
Yep.
You don't even give him a chance. Yeah. That's and there's no blaming Prosvetov for that.
Not for that one.
No. You look at Devon Toews and you go, buddy, that you just need. You are positioned.
You
to
have
take
one
that
job
away.
right there.
That one bothers me.
Yep.
That one bothers me. The second one bothers me way less because there are things you don't like, and we're talking about the fourth line. Don't get scored on. That's a really nice play and a really nice finish, and I'm willing to just live with that. I'm willing to live with that.
Again,
because
Olofsson just can't get torched. That's the biggest problem I have.
They give you a matchup that you don't want. They have their. I don't know what
Killorn, Carlson,
I don't know what they would
is.
designate that line number as. But that's a pretty, that's Alex Killorn, who had however many goals and points last year as a bunch.
Yep.
And the second overall pick in the most recent draft. Like, those guys just torch some of your depth guys.
Yeah.
That's a matchup, and when you're on the road, you're going to get matchups like that. Shit happens. For me, that's good hockey. I'm not blaming anybody for that. I'm just saying you guys outplayed us. Good work.
Yep.
The third goal, that's really tough. How do you sit? I'm just curious. Now, I know you couldn't do this to Patrick Waugh, but maybe Craig Billington? Because Could you sit in the back of the bus to the goaltender and go, buddy, we really needed a save on that one, or did you just keep it to yourself?
No. I mean, honestly, I've seen guys, goalies know when they should have had it, and they'll be the first ones. And if they're not, they wouldn't be in the league. You know what I mean? Because it's always somebody's fault. Well, there's guys like that. Don't kid yourself. But they know. They'll be like, hey, listen, this one's on me. You know what I mean? This one's on me. But then again, you nitpick it. And you're like, well, how can we go about where he can't shoot the way he did? And what I mean, forget about the outcome.
Yeah.
What could we have done better? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But the goalie will say, yeah, that's on me. This one's on me. Then Patty would have said that, hey, that's on me to make the save there. But let's
How often did that happen?
you know what? Believe it or not, like, he was very critical of his game. Yeah, absolutely. There wasn't a guy that blamed others. You know what I mean? Like, I swear.
No, I believe
Wasn't,
you.
yeah.
That's why he's the best ever.
A fierce competitor, but it's always on, right? It's on the bus, on the plane. Now it's this a little more. You know what I mean? It's a little different. But
You get it?
I do.
Okay.
what is it?
I don't. No idea.
A
Something
ghost?
rattling around.
A cheeseburger stuck in there. But poopy fur. All right. Shoot.
And again, I don't want to take away from the parts of this game where Prosvetov played well. First period, did a lot of good things.
Dude, he really played well in the first period.
But
there's a lot of good.
The third goal against is one that just can't go in on an NHL goaltender.
And when you're talking about a 3-goal league,
Yep.
you score 3. You get to 3 first. And when you have a 3-2 lead and that's the goal that you give up, it's crushing.
Yep.
And you can see the team respond to it because the Avs very good defensively the rest of the game.
Yeah.
Not so great in overtime. I'm not counting overtime.
3-on-3 is 3-on-3.
Exactly.
Yeah.
3-on-3 is its own monster. But the Avs responded defensively. They were very good. They just don't quite finish. And really, it's Ross Colton's lack of finish coming out of the box.
Yep.
That's the one where you're like, you needed that one.
Yep.
You really, really. He has John Gibson beat.
Yeah.
And credit to John Gibson, who absolutely
Gives
caught
it everything he can.
fire.
Yeah.
Gives up 3 goals and is like,
That's
I'm
it.
done
Yeah.
with this. The guy catches fire and he's great. He gets beat by Ross Colton on that breakaway move. Colton doesn't finish.
Yep.
And that ultimately ends up being the difference in your game because Leo Carlsson certainly beats Ivan Prosvetov on pretty much the same move in the shootout, and Carlsson finished.
He sure did. Had
And
a
then-
lot more to finish at, but
That's why you can't make a 20-goal score, a 50-goal score. It doesn't exist. I mean, that's the truth. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I'm not bagging on Russ there. Hey, listen, I love him, all heart, but you can't make a 20-goal score, a 50-goal score. It doesn't exist.
yep,
There's a difference there, right?
for sure.
Yeah, I'm not sure we're going to do a butt poopy for a t-shirt. Seems unlikely.
It's not my line. I'm using their line.
That's a tough sell. I think that T-shirt's a tough sell.
Americanism right there.
Yeah. I'm not claiming it either. This is all
I'm
rude
stealing
on
it from you guys. I went on Twitter and I saw Rudo say it.
I did
Poopy fart.
say it.
Yep.
I did say. I only said it once though. You said it like 12 times. I'm just saying.
I know, because I said I would, because I like it.
He likes it.
Yeah.
Instead of a butt poopy fart, maybe actually talk about something tasty and enjoyable, like Illegal Pete's. All right? Go get yourself some delicious Illegal Pete's burritos. Fresh ingredients, amazing queso. You can get margaritas at happy hour from 3 to 8 p.m. They're just awesome. They have 11 different locations here in Colorado, including one just a couple blocks from the bar. So maybe go pregame down at Illegal Pete's and come down for tomorrow's game on Sunday. Join us at the bar afterward for a good time. Should be an enjoyable one, hopefully, as the Avs try to bounce back from this. But check out your local Illegal Pete's today. Get in on that happy hour and some delicious burritos. And then, if you want to go to the game, you can hit up Game Time and go get the best prices on tickets out there. And when you sign up with the DNVR code, you get $20 off your first purchase with Game Time. You can wait till the day of the game to get last-minute deals. You can use the section selector to get a good chunk of change off. You can... What? Tiff's losing it over here. Okay. Don't fall out of your chair when you get a chair at the arena from Game Time. Don't follow Tiff's lead. You can ton of great options. Even if it's not a sporting event, you can go over to Game Time and get tickets to concerts, get tickets to the theater, whatever it is you want to do. Go check out Game Time today. Download their app and join over 15 million people who get their tickets through Game Time. Third period, what?
Do you guys ever go to the theater?
Like the actual theater? Movies? Not since elementary school.
Not
Took
like
me
movie
there.
theater. I mean like a live action theater.
I don't know that I've ever been on not like a field trip for school.
Oh yeah.
I,
Go to the Golden Playhouse all the time.
on Broadway.
Oh, I also used to do that.
I've seen them all on Broadway in New York. When I was-
Long
Yeah,
So
that
fun,
makes
yeah.
sense. Yeah.
It was.
The Les Mis, look down. Dear God, don't let me die. Something like that. I remember that. Les Mis.
Wow.
I am very
Between Eric
diverse.
repetitively saying butt pooping fart and then talking about
Les Mis.
talking about Les Mis on Broadway, this pod
He's got
has,
range.
Asked
this
me-
pod has produced some surprises.
You asked me if I've ever been to the theater, right?
Yeah, no, I was curious.
I
'cause
I lived on Broadway. That's all we did.
I
didn't
got
live
called
on
up to
Broadway,
do I got called up to do like a rain dance when I was like 7 or something, and then there was a gigantic blizzard the very next week, so my parents stopped taking me to the theater, and then we moved to Texas, so blizzard stopped anyway.
Well, the Ame Ame song, is that the rain dance that you did?
Bro, I was like 7. I really don't remember. I couldn't have even been 7. I might have been 8, 6, 5. I have no idea.
Yeah, well, which I guess that's not really a rain dance song. That's just a Japanese song about the rain.
I was definitely 10 because it happened in 1997.
I'm happy for you.
Boom! I remembered it.
Anyway,
Of course, Megan loves the theater because she loves drama. She seems so sweet and innocent, but I tell you what, if I've ever mentioned a reality show, she just lights up.
Oh, it's Megan. See, I can't read. You know
The
that.
only thing that makes
can only
Megan
see
more
something.
excited than drama is Pioneers hockey.
Who's hockey?
Pioneers.
Oh,
little DU action.
OT wins tonight.
Look, the Avs get a point out of this game. They really do play pretty well in the third period, even if they don't get the finish. Overtime is what it is.
They were okay in overtime.
I don't think they were terrible. They probably gave up the biggest chance that goes off the post.
Yeah.
But they don't lose the game in overtime.
It was frustrating. I think overtime was more frustrating because we're just looking at Colorado's special talent. And
Doing
you're
nothing,
looking at
yeah.
Anaheim's not special talent, at least not yet, in the case of Leo Carlson. And you're looking at Colorado's best players. Like, you're talking about players who have reached the mountaintop in the NHL.
Yeah.
They are the elite of the elite who have accomplished something. Not just these, like, regular season warriors that you have in Edmonton. Like, guys who have done have hardware, right? And you're looking at them and you're going, please do something cool.
What? And
Please, and not Mikko Rantanen trying to go 1v2,
Yeah,
1v3,
right.
losing the puck. And, you know, like, dude, like, just, I don't know how else to elucidate it than just say, do something cool.
I can
Do something special. Just be better. You are better. Be better.
I can live with the top guys attempting to make a good play and it not working. I struggle to live with Nathan McKinnon or Mikko Rantanen firing a shot from beyond the circles that misses the net entirely and goes the other way. They should be better than that.
Yeah. And they get away with those.
Yeah, totally.
The puck comes out to the neutral zone.
Taves is there.
Yeah, and
like,
then Chushkin
yeah.
picks it up and is like, let's try it again. And instead of being like, and this has long frustrated me, and long time listeners of the pod will know that I think the Avalanche are a nightmare in 3v3 because they play dumb, selfish hockey.
Yep.
They don't get the format is about you have to
Abusing the open space.
Exactly. And like you see McKinnon's like, I'm going one on everybody. And he's like, it's Nate versus the world, baby. And this is one thing that I think all that ice time drills into them.
Yeah.
If it's not us, it's nobody.
Yeah.
And it was frustrating. I wanted to see more of Jonathan Duran and Ryan Johansson. Even if you go down with the ship with those guys. As you said, taking some of that ice time away, it tells those guys, you're not getting it done. And in overtime, I'm not choosing it to send a message. I'm not benching them. But I'm not continuing to, okay, every other shift, you guys go back out there and do it. I want to see some of the other guys because you are telling those guys, I got you. You go reward this. Go do something for me. And Jonathan Drouin especially was a guy that I thought had a little bit of something tonight.
Yep.
I mean, that guy on a forecheck
Just murked a guy.
bodied a man, took a puck, and then it ended up in a shot on goal and a save and an offensive zone faceoff.
Yep.
That's him doing his job.
Yep.
If it weren't for a bad offside by Tomas Tatar, he had speed around one guy and he might have been able to make a little bit of a... See what that guy gives you in 3-on-3. His shootout move certainly wasn't special.
No, it was not great.
I know that there's going to be all the second guessing about, Duran in the shootout, but, like, who's the third guy? It feels obvious to be like anybody but him after it doesn't work. But, like, okay.
I mean, McKinnon and Rantanen didn't do anything special either on their shootout attempts.
I'm definitely not about to criticize Jared Bednar for his shootout guys.
Yeah.
Because two of them are very obvious and the third guy is a pick'em.
Yep.
It's not established. We have no idea. Hopefully we don't have to see it again. But, like, whatever. I'm just saying, overtime, I would have loved to see just a different combination or two. Maybe not Ryan Johansson so much just because he's so slow. The SS Ryjo is not going to like all the turning. You know.
Anyway, somebody said it's a skills competition. Absolutely.
Yeah,
I mean, I'm not negative on the law. It's a law. It's not a loss. I always say, listen, I've been in those rooms like, you win in the shootout. Like, honestly, you're like, yeah. I mean,
You got 2 points for a tie.
Yeah, there's no, like, Miley Cyrus party in the USA. You know what I mean? Like, it's more like...
Maybe that's what the league is missing.
Yeah.
More Miley.
You just feel like, it's weird. And when you lose in a shootout, trust me, it's not like...
For real.
We lost. It's weird. Like, it's like, we didn't lose the game. It's a skills competition. So, of course, it doesn't exist in playoffs. And neither does that 3-0-3 overtime crap. Because I am a purist, so... You know, I don't like it.
Hold on.
No, what?
Should there be ties?
I don't know. I play in the narrow where there's ties, man. I'm like, yeah, whatever. So, I mean, it is what it is.
It's a better take than I usually get on that question.
I'm just saying. I'm being honest. Like, I'm like, whatever. But, again.
Ties are un-American.
I knew he was going to yell at that.
I'm sorry.
But I'm just saying, it's not the end of the world. Like, I'm not saying this is the end of the world. But, you know, I know you were going to talk about it, but the more concerning thing is Cale McCarr.
Yeah,
right?
we're about to get to it.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I'm not worried about the rest. The rest is, we're nitpicking in a sense, but
It's
we're
an
not
overtime loss
over
in one game.
shootout, whatever you call this thing.
fine.
Yes, it's not a big deal. We're saying, but how can you bring it where it doesn't go to overtime? You know what I mean? You close the game out. I don't care if it's 3-1 in the first. You're still up by
Win
2.
the game.
You should win the game. That's
Yep.
it. That's it.
Yep. Obviously, I don't even think you can be that upset with the road trip so far.
No.
If this is different and they just lose to Arizona and then you get 2 points from winning the game tonight.
I've said it so many times on this podcast, but statistically speaking, back-to-back OTLs is the same as winning one game.
Yep.
It's not in the standings because you don't get a row. Or
Avs aren't
a
exactly
regulation win or
desperate for
whatever.
rows right now either.
Right, but also you don't want to give up that gap that
Sure.
you've built, and like you need to. You're not making the postseason with 30 points. You still have to keep banking those, you know.
It's true.
But if they win tomorrow, and this is why losing tonight puts big pressure, because if they win tomorrow, you get 4 out of 6. You get 4 out of 6.
Outstanding trip.
And you're feeling like, great, we beat the best team that we played on that trip. You come home with confidence. You come home feeling sexy. You come home listening to Miley, and it's all good. Can we make our pod thing more Miley? I just would prefer that.
Whatever you want.
More Miley. The Nuggets have all the Nuggets are good, and we don't have all the Avs are good. So I just want more Miley. We can have an Avs shirt that says more Miley.
Was this the Miles Wood shirt, low key?
More Miles.
Yeah.
All right.
More wood.
We're getting into dangerous territory.
It's after midnight, so.
Yeah. it is.
True. DNVR After Dark did start 71 minutes ago. I mean, with Bub Hoopy Fart, I mean, we've been pretty into it. So,
But as you mentioned, Eric, I would happily take a 8-0 loss tomorrow if that would guarantee that Cale would be back.
yeah, obviously the main takeaway from this long term is what's up with Cale.
Yep.
I'm excited for Sam Malinsky tomorrow. I'm obviously jumping the gun on this, but if he wasn't good enough to play
I
in
can't
overtime,
imagine he's going to play tomorrow. Yeah.
I can imagine them being like, our schedule is very game heavy coming up. Giving him tomorrow off, travel day, Monday obviously off. Like, he gets 2 days off. Maybe he's good enough to go for Tuesday. You're thinking about next week. You're not worried about too much tomorrow and whatever happens tomorrow. And hey, give Sam Malinsky a shot. And I would also just say, if you put Devon Toews on your top power play unit, you might see a little bit of more Mikko, because it's a little that left-handed pass going that way instead of pushing it to the right to McKinnon. Maybe it's a little easier. I don't know. Eric, do you have thoughts? Is it easier for a left-handed point man to go out to the right or off to the left? Because this is part of my Cale. This is part of my theory with Cale and Rantanen on the top power play unit, is that him being right-handed, he has to open up so much of his body to pass it over there that it's telegraphed so badly that it takes some of it away.
But you got a guy like Cale that can just dish it on his backhand, right? I mean, a lot of guys can't.
Yeah.
Or it's not going to be precise. Cale is precise, you know what I mean? So I just would like it more to go to that side. Nothing against McKinnon. He goes, what a shot last game.
You're talking about a 50-goal scorer versus a 40-goal scorer.
I'm just saying,
like, those guys
I like to
good.
go on that side more, and I like to come from the middle up top, as we've seen in these last 8-9 games with Val in front, tips, and goes in. So I like those two options better than the McKinnon option. So if that was your question, right? Is
it easier for a left-handed guy in the middle of the ice to give it to Mikko versus a right-handed guy?
It is easier because you're going to go like this, and then you can fake going left and then pass it right. But as a righty, it's a little different. You know what I mean? So
just the physics of it take a little longer, and anything that takes a little longer means you've lost
that space has been closed.
The art of deception is a big part of power play success.
It is. It is.
All right.
That's a fair question.
I would say
just a curiosity thing. Maybe it makes no difference.
No,
but
it does
make
a difference. It does.
This is not to say Devon isn't a good shooter. He's a good shooter, but he's not Cale Makar.
No.
So there might be a little bit less of sometimes when Cale's out there on the power play, he passes it back and forth to those guys and finally says, okay, you guys won't shoot. I'll do it myself. Fine. Maybe a little bit less of that with Devon up at the top.
Yeah. I will say the Makar health is definitely your
biggest concern
your
of
top
tonight,
takeaway from this. Even if you lose tomorrow and you go, we got 2 out of 6 points on the road trip. It's an unsuccessful road trip. We're bummed about it. This could have been better. We were a couple overtimes, a shootout, whatever, away from having 4 out of 6. We left points on the table. This is a disappointment, a bummer. But if Cale Makar's healthy, you're going, we're good.
Yep.
If Cale Makar is not healthy and he's going to miss some time, and this becomes the 10 games that he misses every year, you're not liking that, because you're about to get to a portion of your schedule where you play every other day. You play constantly.
Yep.
You can't have the injuries start right when you start to play constantly. Have the injuries 3 weeks ago when you had 2 days off all the damn time.
Yep.
I'm just saying that would annoy me. The universe got jokes, so it's probably what we're in for.
All right. I think we can wrap this one up here. We do have one super chat to get to. $10 from Melanie, who says, it's a bummer, but it is what it is, and in less than 24 hours, they have to play again. Go Avalanche, get some rest, and turn it around. Time to turn it up. Yeah, in 18 hours.
To that point, the Avalanche have been uncommonly good in the second games of back-to-backs over the last 3 seasons.
Like, absurdly good.
Like, not like, oh, they're 10-7. Like, they're like 18-2 or some shit. Like,
it's pretty outrageous.
They've been unbelievably good in this situation. They've got their number 1 goalie going tomorrow. If you were ever looking at Alexander Georgiev and going, all right, big fella, you're going to steal a game for us. This one.
This is why we didn't play you against Anaheim.
Exactly. Because if you play Georgiev against Anaheim and the exact same game plays out, you probably win tonight.
Yep.
You probably win tonight, and you probably win in regulation.
Probably.
You can't make those certainties.
But probably.
Life doesn't work that way, but probably.
You know it's DNVR After Dark when I'm just getting messages like this randomly on my phone at the end of the show.
Long live Dick Butt.
No, not Dick Butt.
I don't think you're going to understand what that is.
Such a classic. I want to get a... That's my next tattoo.
Where are you going to get it?
What do you mean? What get it on my forehead.
We are getting out of here. We are brought to you by Shady Rays. You can go get yours so you can wear sunglasses at night so you can see like the Blues Brothers, or, actually use them for their intended purpose, like when you're driving in and when you live east of where you work, so you drive directly into the sun all the time. But, I guess normal people wouldn't do that if they lived east, but not the point. The point is Shady Rays has dope sunglasses. When you get 2 pairs or more with the DNVR code, you get 50% off your order. What?
You kind of talked yourself into a butt poopy far corner right there.
I did. It's pretty normal.
You said it 4 times now. He's beat me 4-3.
I think you've said it more than 3.
I'm not keeping score, bud.
You're the Avs, and I'm all the other teams.
There you go.
We're out of here before we say something even stupider. We're back tomorrow for another game, another go. I think we'll be doing a watch along too.
There's no way the Nuggets play 3 days in a row.
Yeah, dude, I'm
boy.
so ready for some other thing.
Play at the same time, but they play
No,
at 2.
the Broncos play. They're in Houston. They play at like 11 a.m. or whatever.
Yeah, and they'll be done. They'll be done.
So,
They play at 6 here, right? Yeah.
oh, did they change the game tomorrow to prime
us.
time?
Us 6.
Us 6.
Oh,
Us
yes.
6,
I was
yes.
like, no, they didn't.
We appreciate y'all hanging out even when the Avs have silly losses. We'll be back here for the next one, and we'll talk to you then.
We all silly like the mayor.